Earth Strikers. Now that's a group that could not have existed 1,000 years ago. A group of women that refuse to procreate because they're afraid of climate change. My name is Sirius. This is Unfluenced. I deliver news that is underreported, but more important than you know. There's a new message, a new talking point from the climate change authoritarians. The birth strikers have risen up and they're ready to make a change. As reported by The Guardian, there are women that are so concerned about the climate crisis, they can't reasonably, and in good conscience, bring another human being into existence. They are literally in fear of a climate crisis and civilization collapse, so they have decided to stop having children, but only until the climate crisis is over. Now, on a personal note, I am trying to avoid getting a climate change notification from YouTube. Let's see how this turns out. As far as climate change is concerned, I have some questions. If I understand these women correctly, they are terribly afraid of climate change, and the only solution is to stop having children, because new people create additional carbon, and that's bad for the planet. I mean, the obvious solution would be to plant a tree. They reduce carbon and they look nice. But these women want to stop having babies. But are their fears rational? Probably not. The Earth has been through a lot of changes over millions of years of existence. We've had major catastrophes and minor inconveniences. Sure, we have a lot of factories now and millions of cars that do put out some pollution. But it is my opinion that the Earth is a living thing and it can heal itself quite easily. Too much carbon? More trees grow. The problem is fixed. Too much oxygen? Trees die, and the plankton in the ocean bloom and they create more carbon dioxide. The system balances itself. Now, even if these women believe that cars and trucks are causing a major climate change from all that carbon they are creating, it doesn't hold a candle to a single volcano. A volcanic eruption can produce more carbon into the atmosphere than 20 years of cars. But once again, the planet will balance, and life goes on. But the climate change is the term that grabs these women, and it truly scares them. I feel for them. They're actually terrified and living in mortal fear that life will end at any moment. You have to have sympathy for these women. They're so terrified, they can't think straight. And that might be the plan, or the goal of this agenda. Now, there's always been some type of crisis. In the 70s, we were told we were heading into an ice age, and we're all going to die. Then, when that didn't happen, they abruptly changed to global warming. The polar ice caps are going to melt, the glaciers would disappear, and all the polar bears would die. Well, that didn't happen either. Al Gore did a famous documentary called An Inconvenient Truth. We were all going to be underwater by 2020. He actually stated that Florida would be underwater. But I've been to Miami quite recently, and the coastline hasn't changed by 1 inch. Same thing with Manhattan. It was supposed to be underwater. I checked. Nope. What about Martha's Vineyard? It was supposed to be gone. But Obama, as everyone knows, bought a beachfront mansion there, and it's just fine. I guess he didn't get the memo. Now, that movie, The Inconvenient Truth, it's hard to find online. This 20-year-old movie is still locked behind a paywall. That sounds about right, actually, because Al Gore made over $50 million from that movie, which was just basically fear porn. And that's what the current movement is. Fear. To get you to make irrational decisions. Now, the last iteration was global warming. But that didn't last either. Now it's just climate change. Ice age. Nope. Global warming. Nope. It's just change. It's changing. So shut up and be scared. But this is not new. Before the Ice Age madness, There was toxic rain. Then there was acid rain. Then smog. It's always something to be afraid of, and they need your money. But back to these women. They're going to be the first person in the entire line of their family tree to stop having children because a nameless, faceless person told them to be scared. I can't think of anything more pathetic, but it's working. This group of women, they're closing up shop. Now, there's a cruel irony to this. It's a basic IQ test. If you fall for the nonsense, you don't get to continue into the future. You will die alone, and your family name will be erased from history. Well, that may sound extreme, but it's reality. Okay, tell me another way to phrase it so it sounds softer. Hey, maybe they don't need softer. Maybe they need a strong, bitter dose of reality. But maybe I'm wrong. These women are only on strike until the crisis is over. And when do you think that's going to be? Now, this is a bold choice. But do you think it'll have any effect? Will it change the climate? I'm looking at a small group of women who better start buying cats and boxed wine. The future is going to be really difficult. Any thoughts? Come on, let's talk about it. Leave some comments. Oh, and hey, that dislike button, it's still down below. If you disagree, have at it. I'll see you tomorrow.